Infante kicks it. Safe at first. And the Braves have the lead. Infante, left field. Get out of here. Ball game. Walk off. And the Marlins beat Kimbrel. They beat the Braves for the first time this year in Miami. Wow, what a finish. Another warm, hot day in Miami, and tonight the Marlins and the Braves will try to live up to the drama of last night. Game 2 of this series. The Braves, of course, trying to hold on desperately to their wild card lead. Young Randall Delgado on the mound. Anibal Sanchez gets the ball for the Fish. Can Eric Hinske get to the postseason for the 5th straight year? Can the Braves hang? It's 2.5 games now as the Cardinals won last night. And, of course, the Marlins played spoiler and hit a lot of home runs. Hi, everybody. It's great to have my partner, Tommy Hutton, back. Welcome back. You feeling better?
I'm feeling better, thanks.
Now, I thought last night that Tommy would get a peaceful night of rest at home. But you watched the game last night. You probably were just like Conine and I with the blood pressure going all over the place.
Now, Ricky losing it a little bit. The pop-ups early in the game when the Marlins had opportunities to score runs, but it had a good finish.
Think about the angst over on the Braves side with their wild card lead that has melted all the way down to 2.5. And now the Marlins, Tommy, on these next couple nights really have a chance to play spoiler.
Yeah, and you think about the Atlanta Braves. They have this series to finish. Then they have Washington in Washington, then the Phillies. And the Cardinals have the Mets, the Cubs, and the Astros. So you think about that. This gives the Marlins something to play for. It's a tough time of year when you've been out of it for a while. You're struggling. A lot of guys are banged up. This gives you a little something to play for.
And don't forget about the Giants, who are 3.5 back in the wild card, who have won 8 in a row. They've got Lincecum against Clayton Kershaw and the Dodgers tonight. Here is the starting pitchers for this ball game. Coventry Healthcare starters. Randall Delgado, Marlins just saw him. Anibal Sanchez goes against the Braves.
It's not Jurgens, it's not Hansen, it's Delgado, the youngster who has to go for Atlanta. Anibal Sanchez, not a great career record against the Atlanta Braves, but he has pitched well. He's closing in on another 200 innings pitched season.
Long ball? You want long ball? How long was it last night? How deep did Mike Stanton go? We've got answers. We've got numbers. And that one is a lot further than 408 feet. I got news for you. Hit Tracker Online. Jeff, I am your father. Take it away, Frank.
It is your destiny, Skywalker.
It is your destiny. Come with me to the dark side. Anyway, it is Star Wars night. We'll have more on that coming up later in the broadcast. For now, Jeff and I want to discuss length of home runs. You hit a few in your career. Mike Stanton's got 34 this year in his first full season in the big leagues. How about the two last night, totaling over 900 feet?
Very impressive shots. I mean, we were talking about when this guy hits the ball on the barrel of the bat, you know it's going out. And last night, he got a nice little uppercut swing there on a fastball, and it says 408. Not really buying it, but look at where this thing lands, up in the upper reaches of this stadium in the upper deck.
That was higher than the foul pole.
Oh, yeah. And then we got the next one, which is more of a line drive type home run toward the center of this field, which is a very large ballpark. Way up there in the blue seats over the end of that big scoreboard out in left center, and very impressive. Both of them, I think, more impressive is the one in the upper deck just because you don't see the ball go up there very often.
Yeah, and Stanton now with 34, 2 behind Pujols for the National League lead, 1 behind Ugla for second place in the National League. Just how far was that first home run? Well, our Allison Williams is up in that location. Allison, just a word of advice. Attach your own oxygen mask before assisting young children.
Yes, it does feel like we are at plane height here. It's like you're up on the moon. It's a long ways down from up here, and I have a little device courtesy of Niner, the big golfer that he is. I have a rangefinder, and according to this device, it is 127 yards to home plate from here. So that's 381 feet. And you have to realize when you look at true distance, that only adds another 30 feet, less than another 30 feet. So it seems pretty hard to believe that it wouldn't have gone much farther if from here to home plate right now is already 381 feet. Either way, an absolute blast by Mike Stanton. The officials hit tracker say 408, 409, but I mean, just on the rangefinder, guys, 381 feet to home plate. It was a blast. It's far. It is a far ways down and away for that ball to travel.
All right, Allison, be careful getting back down from there.
Yeah.
Not many people go upper deck in this ballpark.
Well, they do. If they do, it's just barely upper deck, not like 10 rows up.
That was no doubt about it. And no doubt about this, we'll be back with the first pitch. Atlanta Braves and the Marlins. Braves trying to hang on to that 2.5-game lead in the National League wild card race. Anibal Sanchez will try to derail it. Rich Waltz and Tommy Hutt will be along with first pitch next here on Fox Sports Florida.
Ready to go. The Braves, the Marlins, game 2 of the 3-game series. The Fish won it on the last pitch last night. Anibal Sanchez first pitch this night is a fastball that is up. Sanchez numbers this year, He's 8-8 with a 3.62 ERA, but he has not been good against the Braves in his 2 starts in 2011. 0-2 with an ERA of over 12 in the 2 starts.
Yeah, the other thing too, Rich, about Anibal Sanchez, which is pretty amazing, the last time he won a game in this ballpark was back on June 10th. He's had some good games on the road. He's had some games that he could have won in this ballpark, but at times not the best of support.
Here's his career numbers, and of course this was the stadium in 2006 in which he threw his no-hitter. Just a little bit up and in, and down goes Bourne.
Now Michael Bourne saying, I know he didn't do that on purpose, but that came pretty close.
So the count's 3-2. We'll see what Sanchez comes back with. Anibal's last time out in Philly, he pitched well, but the Marlins did not get any runs for him, and he lost 3-1. A leadoff walk to Bourne, that's never a good sign. He can run, that Michael Bourne. Warren Henry brings you the starting lineups. Michael Bourne in center. Martin Prado is in left field. Chipper Jones is at third. Dan Uggla at second base. Brian McCann will do the catching. Freddie Freeman at first. Alex Gonzalez at shortstop. Jason Hayward in right. And Randall Delgado will do the pitching. Our Warren Henry starting lineups. Here's Prado now. We'll see if the Braves have Bourne on the move. Sanchez has been missing up here early. Prado last night was 1 for 3. He had a bases loaded walk. That was the one issued by Ryan Webb, which drove in the tying run in the ill-fated 7th inning. What followed was the Chipper Jones smash that kicked off of Infante's glove that gave the Braves what looked like would be the lead and the game.
Boy, not too often do you make an error like that and then have a chance to redeem yourself.
Liner into right. That's a base hit. Stanton picks it up. Bourne will stop at second.
The perfect situation for Martin Prado. He knows that Anibal's struggling a little bit with control. He's got that hole open. He knows he's going to get a fastball, and he knew what to do with it. Take a look at the defense, as always, brought to you by Warren Henry with Lomo. Bonifacio moves into center field. Mike Stanton right. Dominguez and Murphy, Infante and Gabby. Anibal on the mound. John Buck behind the plate.
So here's Chipper now. Marlins with the infield looking for a double play. Sanchez trying to get out in front. Throws a strike.
Yeah, I mentioned, Rich, with Bonifacio in center. You were talking to Jack about Brian Peterson.
Yeah, Peterson, a guy that last night, of course, fouled a pitch off his foot. He's been playing banged up for the better part of a month. Right behind Buck, and a wild pitch. The Braves are set up nicely now, second and third, and nobody out.
Right now, Anibal Sanchez really struggling. The fastball's been all over the place. He tried the breaking ball that time to Chipper. Pitch got away from John Buck, and both runners advanced.
Brian Peterson was not in the lineup this afternoon when Jack posted it. Peterson went into Jack's office wanting to know why, and Jack said, look, I know you're hurt, but I know you want to play. Even though you are hurt, I'm going to give you a night off. And Peterson said, all right. And Jack appreciated that Peterson came in to find out why he wasn't in there.
That's a player that all managers like to have. And so is Bonifacio, because you know when you have him, you can plug him in anywhere.
Yeah, so he's out in center. Murphy's at short. But right now, the real worry is on the mound. Anibal Sanchez walked Michael Bourne. Prado singled to right, and he's behind a veteran hitter, 2-1. And he misses away.
Struggling with everything. Changeup missed. Breaking ball is missed. The fastball's been all over the place. So right now, Anibal trying to get a feel out there on the mound.
Let's see what Chipper gets. 3-1. It doesn't get much easier. Uggla's on deck. Wow. Chipper went out of the zone and a changeup in the dirt.
There's no way Chipper Jones is looking for a 3-1 changeup after Sanchez has been all over the place with all of his pitches. First inning struggles for Anibal this year. Hitters batting over 300. He's allowed 21 first inning runs.
Remember, Sanchez didn't face the Braves in Atlanta. He pitched in that doubleheader, the day-night doubleheader in Philadelphia, his last time out. 3-2 coming. Oh, right down the middle.
And what happened, so once Chipper Jones saw the 3-1 changeup, he had no idea what he was going to see 3-2. And what does Sanchi do? How about a fastball right there?
Here's Uggla now.
That's huge.
You want huge? How about Uggla's homer to right center field?
Hey, the home runs that were hit last night, both sides,
were big boy home
We're
runs.
all in big man territory.
Uggla going to right center field.
They were not fence scrapers.
And Dan swings and misses.
When a right-hander goes over the Geico sign in this ballpark, you know it's a blast. And for Dan Uggla, he continues to add on with an already career high. 35 home runs, 5 have been against the Fish.
Oh, 1 coming. Now he's got Uggla 0-2. Uggla is a guy you can strike out. Dan, on the season, as Marlin fans know, has a tendency certainly to hit home runs, but also to punch out. 144 strikeouts. But 35 home runs now for Uggla, a career high.
You can go bad breaking ball or high fastball, but if you go bad breaking ball, you have to be careful of the wild pitch.
Bad breaking ball.
Good pitch.
Uggla's homer was 424 feet.
Hey, Rich, Dan's was farther than Mike Stanton's in the upper deck.
Find that hard to believe. Logan Morrison's, I believe, was up in the 430s, like 436. Here's a 1-2. Ooh. Wow. That was close, both on the call and on the check swing.
But a couple of pitches that you really like to see, because you think of the mistake pitch that Sanchez made to Uggla in Atlanta.
Two and two. And Uggla says enough's enough. He steps out. Buck's on his way out to talk to Sanchez. Randy St. Clair, Jack McKeon. Sanchez has given up 19 homers. This is start number 31. And the last time he faced Atlanta, Tommy, it wasn't pretty. It was on August 10th, and he did not get through the second inning.
That's why I think here, if somehow he can get out of this jam, he'll be on his way. But he needs to get out of this jam.
Uggla had a 2-run single in the first inning of that ball game on August 10th. Got him. Changeup. Well, if he gets out of this inning, what an escape act it'll be.
Be just tremendous. I mean, a couple of runners on and getting 2 big hitters and striking them out. Chipper Jones, Dan Uggla. You got Chipper on a good 3-1 changeup, then a 3-2 fastball to strike him out. Uggla, a good changeup to get him. Doesn't get easier, though, here with McCann.
McCann, 321 in his career against Sanchez. Breaking ball. Didn't miss that far in.
And, Rich, my mistake, it was McCann who hit the big home run against Sanchez in Atlanta.
There are his career numbers against Sanchez.
We strive for perfection.
That's right. It works on McCann just as it did with Uggla. Fastball up, and it's 2-0. And last night, Ricky Nolasco, and you remember the mistake pitch Nolasco threw to Alex Gonzalez. And last night, again, the 7th inning for Nolasco against the Braves. Ricky just flat ran out of gas last night, and this is an interesting move here.
Yeah, it is, because this is where you look at the entire body of work, because McCann is 0 for his last 12. But his body of work a little better than the guy coming up. But the guy coming up is having a tremendous rookie season and is also a left-handed hitter.
Freeman had gone 0 for 15 going into Sunday's game against the Mets and snapped it with a pinch hit. Last night he was 0 for 4, so if you add it up, he's 1 for his last 20.
So 2 guys, left-handed hitters, back-to-back that are both struggling.
There's probably a few other guys in the Braves lineup. That's one of the reasons the Braves wild card lead is melted down to 2.5.
This, Rich, is the type of inning. If you're the Braves, you've seen the wild card lead slip. You lost the game the way they lost last night. This is the type of inning. If they don't score, things start to get a little tighter in that dugout.
Sanchez got a break on that check swing foul ball by Freeman. Here's his 0-1. Buried a breaking ball. Now he's in almost the exact same spot he was with Uggla. He's 0-2 on him, so he doesn't have to throw him a strike right now.
And if you're Freeman, and if you were watching, you saw a 3-1 change to Chipper Jones, then you saw him frozen on a 3-2 fastball. Your mind's going every which way.
Let's see what he gets. Sanchez 0-2. Freeman hooks it to right. Stanton on the move. He is there, and he makes the catch. Second and third, and nobody out. No problem. Anibal Sanchez gets out of it. Leah sighting. And here is the first Marlins lineup sighting, brought to you by Warren Henry. Emilio Bonifacio is in center field. Omar Infante is at second. Mike Stanton in right field. Logan Morrison in left. Gabby Sanchez at first. John Buck will do the catching. Donnie Murphy's at short. Matt Dominguez at third. Anibal Sanchez will hit ninth. As we pointed out, the Marlins facing Randall Delgado, but Tommy, he pitched well against the Fish, albeit for only 5 innings, his last start.
Yeah, the area that Delgado's been stuck on has been 5 innings. His last 3 starts, he's gone 5 innings, and in that 5 against the Marlins, he threw 101 pitches.
Emilio Bonifacio, and a first pitch fastball is right down the middle. You got Omar Infante and Mike Stanton also coming up here in the first. And of course, Bonifacio was behind in the count 0-2 with 2 outs and hit that chopper to chipper down the third baseline. Pulls that one foul. And if you're a Marlin fan, you know that the lights in this facility, once football season starts, the stadium lights are readjusted, and it can be murderous on third basemen, left fielders, right fielders.
We used to have many a conversation with Josh Willingham.
Bonifacio lines it to right, and you see,
yeah,
Jason Hayward having trouble with the lights in right. And Chipper Jones was quite honest, and as you see it, he just flat out lost the ball in the lights.
Yeah, there's no question. You almost saw Jason Hayward lose one in the lights as well. And the only other ballpark that I can remember seeing that with consistency was also a football stadium, Jack Murphy Stadium in San Diego.
Delgado takes outside, and here is Infante. It was a very good post-game interview last night with Infante. Joe Espada was his translator. Omar does speak some English, but he is most comfortable on live television, English television, using a translator.
Yeah, he will speak to you and I in the clubhouse, but I respect that. The fact that he just wants to get the correct answers and hear the right question. Joe Espada always does a terrific job.
Infante is very much a perfectionist. Here's the 1-1. But he wasn't even asked about this. He was just asked about the home run. And in the answer about the home run, he pointed out that it felt good to get to come back up and redeem himself because he felt so badly for the error that he made in the 7th inning. Delgado's 2-1 pitch. Infante cracks it foul. All right, what do we have tonight for the Marlins and the Braves in Randall Delgado?
Well, we talked before about the young Panamanian of Los Tablas. He's a strikeout guy in the minor leagues. It hasn't translated as much here. And his second start against the Marlins gave up 4 hits and a run at Turner Field. Brought to you by Coventry Healthcare.
So you haven't missed a beat despite being under the weather last night.
I tried to stay up with you and Niner last night. And I thank Niner for having my back, as he said, and for being a great pinch hitter, which he was.
Three-2 coming to Infante. Gonzalez around it and makes a throw just in time to get Infante. Stands on his way up. He ended up in the upper deck, and that's where Allison Williams is right now. Allie?
Yes, I'm sitting where that ball supposedly landed, although I'm not sure that it ever did. It was an absolute moonshot. So throughout the night tonight, it's an email Twitter Tuesday. I'll be reminding you guys every time Stanton is up to bat. And just a few things that people have been saying on Twitter about him, everybody kind of buzzing. Socially Awkward said, I'll let you know when it lands about the shot. And Javier91 says, I thought the ball was going to land near my house. People pretty impressed with both blasts from Stanton last night, guys.
Yeah, it was, an incredible show. The first one he hit, you could literally hear the oohs and ahs as it left the bat. The next one he hit was just absolute mashed in the left center field. And, the thing I love about Stanton, too, when he hits him, Tommy, he drops the bat and runs to first. He doesn't look at him. He doesn't pimp
Well, that's
it.
because he has arms like steel, and when he hits them, he knows they're going to go out.
He just drops the bat and starts his trot, and there's no show. There's none of this look at me.
Hey, I want to know if Allie can get a vendor up there for some peanuts or something.
Allie, have you seen anyone up there with you? Do you have to get special permission to get up there? Apparently, she's at such a high altitude, her microphone is cut out.
I had a chat with Braves third base coach, Brian Snitker, who was sitting on the bench, of course, when Stanton hit the first one. He said by the time he got out of his seat to see where it went, it was out already.
Delgado has him 2-2. Stanton goes after a fastball and fouls it out of play. Stanton homering in the first inning, and then the third inning. In the sixth inning, he came to the plate for the third time against Mike Minor, and Minor wanted nothing to do with him. He didn't intentionally walk him, but he didn't throw a strike. He walked him on 4 pitches. Another 2-2 pitch. There's the straight change from Delgado. It has good downward sink to it, and it's 3-2. We will dive into the email bag once we get the game going. Mike Hill, Marlins general manager, will join us tonight in the third inning. So if you have any GM type questions, let them rip. Stanton chops the one out to short, and Gonzalez with a couple of balls here in the first inning. Randall Delgado, a rather uneventful first, was scoreless. In high definition. Don't you agree, Tommy?
And with the stylish dark glasses on.
And you have 2 different flavors of Princess Leia there. Brought to you by H.H. Gregg. Oh, Princess Leia has a date. Gonzo hits one to left and hits it well. That's deep, and that's gone. Alex Gonzalez off of Anibal Sanchez. All the noise the Braves made in the first inning, and they didn't get a run. Anibal Sanchez threw 26 pitches to get out of that mess, and the first pitch he throws here in the second inning ends up in the seats.
The Marlins just haven't figured out a way to retire their former shortstop. Pitches up out over the plate. For Alex Gonzalez, who's hit over 320 against the Fish this year, that's his 4th home run. 4 home runs and 12 RBIs against the Marlins this season.
Here's Jason Hayward. He homered last night. Sanchez with a fastball for a strike, and it's 0-1. It's email and Twitter Tuesday. We throw out the ceremonial first email here, and it's from Rob in Claremont, Florida. In the last home game on closing day, will the Marlins wear throwback uniforms? Gonzo pointing across the diamond, someone in the Marlins dugout on him. Tommy?
I have not heard that, so I don't know, but I could be wrong.
Well, with all the players that are coming back from the '97 World Championship team, and certainly the inaugural '93 team,
they might be wearing some of the throwback stuff.
Got to have Niner break out the teal and the sleeveless.
The great Gazoo helmet. That one fouled back to the screen. All year cooling brings us the weather, and tonight the weather much like last night. 85 degrees. Always important, Tommy, on Star Wars night to have the moon phase in your weather. And apparently we're in the last quarter. Sanchez misses down low and the count's 2-2. Sanchez had to strike out Chipper Jones, Dan Uggla, and they get Freddie Freeman to hit a fly ball out to get out of the jam in the first. So a couple walks, a couple strikeouts. And that one came off the bat with a little funk on it. Runner going to second, and the throw from Stanton is not in time. Boy, that is a disjointed play. Infante, I think, got fooled by the swing, and then Bonifacio and Stanton got tangled up in the outfield. Hayward never stopped, and he ends up at second.
Well, to Hayward's credit, he never stopped, and that's why he got to second base. But it's one of those balls that's hit like a knuckleball. It's kind of moving and darting around. Gets into that outfield, a little confusion. It's a ball that Bonifacio should pick, even though Stanton has a good direction at it. But with the confusion, Hayward took second. And it's going to be a double for Jason Hayward.
A line drive bunt, and Gabby tried to get Hayward. You don't see too many of those. You either pop them up or you put them on the ground. Rarely do you line them into the glove of the first baseman.
Well, and the one you don't want to see is the one that goes over the head of the first baseman. Good reaction. Look at Gabby. Is breathing right down on Delgado. A good effort, but Hayward was going to get back anyway.
Top of the order. Here is Bourne, and here's where Sanchez had his issues in the first inning.
You hear us use the term stressful innings. Anibal Sanchez early in the game now has had 2 stressful innings.
Yeah, this has not been an easy 36 pitch effort so far, and he's got just an out in the second inning. Count now at 2-0.
This is where you have to be careful when you get to that 5th, 6th inning and you see the pitch count around 100. You have to remember those first couple of innings.
That one fouled back and out of play. It's 2-1. David in Ocala wants to know, in the 19 seasons of games in this stadium, how many home runs have reached the upper deck? And of those, how many have been hit by Marlins? Now, we showed you last night Galarraga's 529-foot homer. And, of course, Stanton's was listed at 408 feet. But many who saw it, breaking ball for a strike, it's 2-2, feel that 408 feet not quite doing it justice.
You know, the one he hit into left center was 461. That was his 4th longest. He hit a couple at Coors, 474, 466. And the one at Citi Field, the straightaway center, was 465.
2-2. Bourne lines it into left center field. That's trouble. It's going to score Hayward. Michael Bourne can run on his way to second, and he's got a double. And the Braves now have a 2-0 lead. The struggles of Anibal Sanchez continue. And here comes the teeth of the order. Prado, Chipper, and Uggla.
This all goes back to a conversation we had. I'm not sure if it was in Philadelphia. It could have been in Atlanta. But the struggles with a couple of guys, Ricky Nolasco being one, Anibal Sanchez another, 2 guys that have had trouble against the National League East, and in particular the Braves and the Phillies. Sanchez just 4-9 in his career against Atlanta.
Runner goes, huge jump, no chance.
Got to give him a look. if you're the pitcher and you have a guy at second who's stolen 55 bases, you have to give him a look. Well timed by Michael Bourne.
And now Prado, who lined a shot into right field his first time up, swings to a fastball, and it's 0-2. Prado upping his average to 264. He's one of the Braves that looks like he could use about a week off right now.
Freddie Gonzalez had envisioned that maybe 2 weeks ago.
Infield's in 0-2.
The guy on deck's another, Chipper Jones.
Well, the Braves in the last 16 days have lost 6 games off of their lead in the wild card. And, of course, last night with the Cardinals hanging on in Philadelphia and the Marlins coming back against Atlanta, the lead is down to 2.5 games. Little looper, back goes Gabby, and it's in the seats and out of play.
You said earlier you saw a great clip on an interview with La Russa while the Marlins game was going on.
The Cardinals game went final about, I'd say, 5 minutes before the Marlins game ended, and by that time the reporters were in La Russa's office, and while they were talking to Tony La Russa, you could hear the game on in the background, and you could hear the Cardinals in the background as a team, and all of a sudden there was a commotion, and you could actually hear players screaming, "Get up, get up." And they were watching the flight of Infante's ball, and La Russa turned and looked up at the TV, and someone shouted, "It's a walk-off," and his eyes got wide, and he got a big smile on his face, and he said, "Oh, that's great." He said, "Now let's turn the Rams games on."
That didn't have as good an ending.
No, not for St. Louis. 1-2 coming. Soft one up the middle into center field, a base hit, and the Braves have cashed in another run and have a 3-0 lead. And right now, the Cardinals are probably in their clubhouse watching the TV saying, "Get it out, get it out."
It's the type of hitter that Martin Prado is. Tough to strike out. He's really fooled on this pitch, but gets enough of it with the infield in, a base hit all the way.
So our emailer in Ocala wanted to know how many upper deck home runs have been hit in the 19 years. Our crack staff is good. I'm not sure if they can get the number right offhand, but they are efforting to find that number. Terry has this question. Been watching the Red Sox and the Braves blow their wild card playoff chances and see their leads melt. You guys have been around for a while. Have you seen a, in her words, not mine, a bigger choke job than the Braves and the Red Sox currently? And absolutely. I mean, we talked with Jeff Conine last night. He was a member of the 2007 Mets.
Kind of looking forward to postseason.
7-game lead with 17 left. And, of course, the Marlins put the final nail in the Mets that year. I can remember 1995. The then California Angels had an enormous lead going into late August, early September. And the Seattle Mariners got hot and were at one point thinking about the wild card, and got so hot they caught the Angels and beat them in a 1-game playoff to get to the postseason. Those were two of the biggest collapses in modern day baseball. The Angels of 95, the Mets of 07.
And I think because of interleague play, we've seen a few more opportunities for collapses.
Well, interleague play and the wild card.
And the wild card, yeah.
Chipper sitting on a 1-1,
It's a real struggle for Sanchez right now.
This has become a real mess now because he's at 49, and you can just tell that by looking at Jack McKeon's reaction.
Yeah, next pitch, number 50, and he's only got one out here in the second.
Chipper tried to catch up to that fastball. It's 2-2. You pointed out if Sanchez could get out of that first inning, he could build some momentum, and the Braves certainly would start really thinking about what's going on here. And the exact opposite has happened. So much so that the Marlins have Alex Sanabia up in the bullpen. Sanabia is a guy that the Marlins have penciled in to make a start this weekend in Milwaukee. The 2-2. Well, Chipper has struck out twice. Now, if you want to get a hold of us tonight on the email or on Twitter, FoxSportsFlorida.com. Click on Game Connect. Scroll down. You see Ask the Broadcast on the left. Click on that. It will prompt you to fill in the blanks. Throw the flag. Fill in the blanks. There you go. And there's Twitter, FS Marlins. Any questions you have for Mike Hill, for Tommy Hutton, even for Frank Fort, Allison, or Jeff Conine. Allison is the queen of social media tonight. She's manning the Twitter account. Reinforcements have arrived. Allison, have you met the stormtroopers yet?
Hey, Rich, I was just checking out Game Connect, and it should be noted that Anibal Sanchez right now, the gauge for his pitch count is almost to halfway empty because it's based on 101 average pitches per game. He's already about halfway to empty here if you look at Game Connect right now on FoxSportsFlorida.com.
The Stormtrooper thing, though, have you met the Stormtrooper? We've seen a couple of Princess Leia's so far.
I haven't been down there yet because I was up in the 400 level.
Where are you now?
I'm making my way down. It's a mystery.
I was a little concerned. I saw one of the stormtroopers tweeting.
They're kind of creepy, aren't they?
But I also think one of them's a good left-handed reliever.
Yeah, because the guy, was it Darth Vader that threw out the first pitch?
Yeah, a lefty.
He's a lefty.
I didn't know that.
Who knew? Sanchez now 0-2 on Ugla with 2 outs. Prado hasn't budged off of first. And that just missed. Prado, normally a guy that could steal a bag, but not this year. He's stolen only 4 bases, and he's been caught 8 times. Saw Terry Pendleton, first base coach, whispering something to Prado. Counts 1-2 now. He is running. And Ugla, a 2-hopper to Murphy, who makes the play, and Sanchez is done with a second, but the Braves do some damage here. They push across 3 runs and have a 3-0 lead. by AT&T, by Checkers, Little Place, Big Taste, and by Coventry Healthcare Florida, lighting the way to better health. Sun setting on Miami. Sun also setting on this stadium. And a guy that's played a lot of games in this ballpark. What was he? 4th most games played in this park all time. Alex Gonzalez got the scoring started with a solo homer. And the Braves put 3 on the board in the second. Now Logan Morrison and the rest of the Fish go to work in the second. Gabby Sanchez, John Buck to follow against Randall Delgado. High fly ball. Hayward makes the catch. Here are the Braves defensively tonight.
And the defense, as always, brought to you by Warren Henry, Prado, Bourne, Hayward in that outfield. Chipper Jones and Alex, Dan Ugla, Freddie Freeman, Delgado, and McCann, the battery. That was a pitch that Logan Morrison, you could hear his angst as he just missed a pitch. You hear us say that once in a while. That means you just get under it a little bit. Pitch that he had to drive, and he's going to think about for a few innings.
Gabby Sanchez takes a fastball outside against Delgado. Gabby doubled his first time up on a 1-for-4 night last night. Leo in Miami wants to know, how come you guys haven't mentioned CJ's shot in Game 1 of the '97 World Series? Leo remembers that it landed pretty close to where Stanton's did last night.
Down the line, yeah.
Well, we'll not only check the tape, but if CJ's here next week, we'll ask him about it. Gabby, a high pop-up. Prado was deep and comes charging in and makes the catch. So Randall Delgado has retired all 5 he's faced. John Buck arrives. Now, who has better hair, John Buck or Dan Patrick? Well, John Buck does not have hair, so Dan Patrick wins that one again.
Hands down.
Anytime we put Dan up against anyone, Dan is the winner. The Dan Patrick Show, weekdays 9 a.m. on FSN.
Who has the best hair on the Marlins? I might go with Brian Peterson.
Well, that's a question that our emailers can weigh in on tonight.
Yeah.
Straight change to Buck. And a strike, it's 0-1. Speaking of home run distances, Jose and Bal Harbor.
Jose and Bal Harbor probably has a better idea than hit trackers.
That's right.
On Mike Stanton.
Here's Jose's question. Why, if a ball leaves a ballpark, do you measure it from home plate to where it lands? And if it hits a seat, you measure it from home plate to the seat. I think you should be consistent and measure all home runs from a home plate to where it could have landed, even if it's a constructive guess. And I think on Hit Tracker Online, that's the true distance. As if the ball were to keep going, they make some sort of mathematical algebraic equation, or as my producer is whispering, a parabola. Here's the 2-1. I've never used that word in life.
Well, that's pretty good because I don't think I've ever used angst on the air either.
I've heard of a parab mic, but never a...
Yeah. How did they measure home runs when Babe Ruth hit them?
Well, after they had a few beers, they get a tape measure out. They walked it off, you know. 2-2. And it's outside. Where was that last pitch? Fox Tracks.
Let's see what Fox Tracks tells us.
There's Hit Tracker and there's Pitch Tracker. And Pitch Tracker says outside corner, strike 3.
Different strike zone tonight from Ed Hickox compared to Ed Rapuano last night.
Well, for Ed, that was the real location of that pitch. The true location.
And as you and Niner pointed out last night, Eddie Rapp had a very solid game behind the plate.
And as a result, Eddie Rapp is awarded with third base tonight. Third base for an umpire It's not a night off, but it's close. You got to look for check swings. You might have a bang-bang play, a tag play. May have to run out in the outfield, see if it's caught or trapped.
Don't mention that to Tim McClellan.
Liner down the first baseline foul. Or
wasn't it Tim McClellan in the World Series that fouled up that tag play at third base?
Or Bob Davidson, for that matter, who famously botched one in this stadium.
But I know what you're saying.
I do not think that call against the Phillies last year will be in the top 10 moments in Marlins history, which we will continue to count down tonight. After tonight, just 4 games left. Number 5 in terms of moments tonight. 3-2. Buck breaking his bat, lining it into the seats. So Jose thinks that Hit Tracker shorted Mike Stanton on the home run to left.
I think we all do.
William in Naples in the mid-70s with the Phillies. Tommy, I know you were a first baseman, but I believe you also played right field. Am I right, or is my memory older than my age?
No, you are correct.
Was Bake McBride? Who was your center field?
Gary Maddox.
Gary Maddox.
It was very easy. Anything to my right into the gap, Gary Maddox had.
Three-two coming. Buck, and did he earn that base hit?
That's a great AB by John Buck. He fouled off some pitches. He had good swings, which kind of tells you that he was on Delgado. So he had good swings, and finally on that pitch number 9. Look at that. Pitch number 9, he hit it sharply past Alex Gonzalez.
And so here is Donnie Murphy. Murphy, who hit a game-winning home run in extra innings up in Washington on Saturday night. Getting the start. Takes a breaking ball for a strike.
I was just thinking, seeing John Buck, he's going to see on this next road trip into Milwaukee a couple of his former pitchers. Zach Greinke when he was with Kansas City. Sean Markham last year with Toronto.
That's right. So if you need help with your scouting report, Buck's your guy.
Hey, there's an idea for the crack staff. If one of those guys or both pitches, how about if we have John Buck give verbally the scouting report?
The crack staff, Tommy, I think is more concerned about which beer house they'll be frequenting and the if they'll get the giant cheese wheel to the booth or the sausage races. But it's a good idea. Change up is high.
Would it possibly be the wonderful German restaurant Mater's in Milwaukee?
It might. 3-1 down to Murphy.
Have a good cheese platter.
Murphy into left field. That's a base hit. And so the Marlins, with 2 outs, get a couple of solid hits. And rookie third baseman Matt Dominguez comes up now.
I think you can see with some good at-bats and Delgado not getting ahead early, the Marlins have had good rips at his fastball.
Dominguez, Marlins getting a look at him for the last couple of weeks.
Good to see Matt get his first extra base hit in the major leagues last night.
Doubled last night. He almost got thrown out by Martin Prado. And he gets a strike. It's 0-1. Sanchez is on deck. Randall Delgado, who's just 21. Tommy Hanson, the Braves are hoping that they can get him back for the postseason. as he tries to come back from a sore shoulder. Jair Jurgens battling a knee injury. 1-1. That one fouled back to the screen.
We talk so much about the number 8 spot in a batting order and the dilemma it is for a young hitter, let alone a veteran hitter. There are times that you don't get pitched to too much, and there are times that it's really important, and this is one of those times. You're going to see some pitches to hit. It's a key at bat because you have Anibal Sanchez on deck.
1-2. Off-speed pitch in the air to right, and Hayward has room, makes the catch. Marlins leave a couple to the third. 3-0 Atlanta. Parading around here at Sun Life Stadium, Rich Waltz. Mike Hill, Marlins Vice President, General Manager, joins us now. Tommy Hutton is with us. It's an email Twitter Tuesday. It's your last appearance this year. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
And we've got emails for you.
So I'm not up next week?
Unless you want to.
No, I'm just joking.
See, we do have next week Email Tuesday.
Yeah, well, we got closing day stuff. So.
All kinds of things.
Yeah, we got.
We might have Charles Johnson in your seat.
Oh, I'll take this as my final appearance of the season.
All right, well, Mike Hill is here. So is Brian McCann. It's 3-0. Anibal Sanchez has struggled tonight, and the Braves have jumped to a 3-0 lead. A one-hopper, Murphy. Sliding stop, rights himself, and guns him out. Great play by Donnie Murphy.
Boy, the thing I like there, Rich, is the fact that when he made the grab, it clicked in that Brian McCann was the runner. So he was able to straighten up, a little tap, and make a strong throw.
Michael, and I'm talking about Donnie Murphy, looks like a completely different player right now than he did in April and May.
Oh, definitely. And that's one thing, we knew at the end of last year after he had the very serious wrist injury, it was really a miracle that he was ready to go in spring training, and he really performed, and he made our opening day roster. But as we found out early in the season, his wrist just was not ready. And after going on the disabled list, he took the time to get it right, and we're seeing that now.
Logan Morrison out there in left field. He makes the catch. All right, first question that's headed in your direction. Tom in Cutler Bay. How did Hanley's shoulder surgery go? Did he have arthroscopic or invasive surgery? If it's invasive, what's the timeline for the return on a surgery like that?
Well, it was open shoulder surgery, so they did open him up, but from everything we've gotten, the surgery went well, the procedure went well, and we're all very hopeful to have him back and ready to go for opening day 2012.
Here's Alex Gonzalez. That's the second pitch that he's seen tonight. The first one he hit out. Gonzo has hurt the Marlins this year. The 0-1. Chris Coughlin. We have 3 Chris Coughlin questions. What's the latest on Chris Coughlin's health and status in the organization?
Well, Chris finished up the 2011 season healthy. We're very happy to finish the season healthy. And he's back home now. And as we see Anibal finish off Alex Gonzalez, I guess I'll finish this question when we get back.
We figured we'd have a quick inning now that you're here.
That's right. Where were you in the second inning? Plan includes a minimum of 1 game from every home series in 2012. Plus, you get a game against the Red Sox, an exhibition game against the Yankees, and an option to add opening day and on-site garage parking. 1-877-411-2012 or go to marlins.com/ballpark and secure your 41-game new ballpark plan today. It's the Cleveland Clinic. Third inning, and that's why we have Mike Hill here, so we can talk a little injury stuff and all. We had just started down the Chris Coughlin road. He finished up healthy, and that's certainly a good sign. How did he perform in AAA, and where do you see him going into next year?
Well, I think he shows some of the rust of the extended layoff that he had, but I think the biggest thing for us is we wanted to see him finish up healthy, which he did, and get himself ready to go this offseason with our offseason strength and conditioning program, and come ready to help this club in 2012.
In his absence, Brian Peterson, I think, has made a nice statement out in center field.
And that's the one thing, when you do have injuries, it creates an opportunity for someone else. And in this particular instance, Brian Peterson has been able to come up and show that he really belongs here in the major leagues and taking full advantage of the opportunity.
Which brings up a good question. Have you and the organization gotten a little different look and idea of what Brian Peterson can do?
No question about it. He has always been a productive minor league player, and he really blew through our system doing just that. All the things that we're seeing now, we had seen in the minor leagues: a high on base, catalyst at the top of the lineup, playing great defense in all 3 defensive
And look
positions.
at that, talking baseball.
Talking baseball there with Gabby. That's what he had done through the minor leagues. And as you always happen with young players, that adjustment period, that time to figure themselves out and figure the pitching out up here, it's difficult, especially when you're not getting regular, consistent at-bats. And I think that's what the injuries and non-performance that we had in the major leagues, it created an opportunity for us to give him regular ABs.
All right, more emails and tweets for you. Last year, the ball club priorities going into the offseason were bullpen and defense. You did improve your bullpen. You did improve your defense. Mike wants to know, from Mike, what position does the team want to upgrade the most going into this offseason?
Well, Mike, I would say going into the offseason, the biggest deficiency that you would see with this club is just overall depth. When you're talking about depth at your major league with your roster, but particularly with your starting pitching. And I think that's something that we'll put a focus on this offseason and try to create as much depth as we possibly can.
A lot of questions about Albert Pujols, Prince Fielder. Will the Marlins be players in those two free agent derbies?
Those are both very good players, and as this offseason begins, we'll sit down with our owner Jeffrey Lurie and David Sampson, and we'll put together our payroll, and we'll try to divvy the pie up as best we can to put the most competitive club on the field that we can. So at that point, we'll have a better idea of which direction we go, but definitely quality players, Fielder and Pujols.
So how does that all work? You guys, Larry Beinfest, yourself and others, you'll sit down, you'll kind of throw in some names and say, I think this guy'd be a good fit, I think this guy. Is that how you do that?
No, I think really.
How does that work?
You look at your club and you see where you might have deficiencies and where you need to fill a hole or make an upgrade. And I think that's really how the process begins, where you identify where you need to make the biggest upgrade or biggest impact, and then you build from there.
How does, and I know the ball club is hopeful that Hanley will be back for opening day, but how does that surgery impact the man at the plate, Omar Infante, the man at first base right now, Emilio Bonifacio, in terms of looking at 2012?
I think they do to some extent. Omar is a pending free agent, so he will, if we don't re-sign him, he'll have the opportunity to go out and test free agency. And in Omar, you have a true professional and a player that is given the opportunity to play every day at second base has shown that he can be a very productive major league player. And in Bonnie, I think you have a wild card. You have a player that whomever our manager will be next year knows that he can pencil him in anywhere on the field, and you're going to get a quality effort.
Off of Chipper's glove, and I think if Bonifacio had to do that over again, he might have tried to get to third. He came around second just as Gonzalez was getting to the ball down the line. But as it was, a hard shot, and the Marlins are set up first and second with Stanton coming up.
Yeah, you're right, Rich. I think even with the little bit of pause that Bonifacio had to make sure that ball got over Chipper's head right there, I think even with that, I agree with you. He may have gotten to third base, but he's thinking that Mike Stanton's a hitter, too. Don't get thrown out at third.
Yeah, you don't want to run into any outs, that's for sure, not with Big Mike coming up to bat.
So here's Stanton now, who bounced to short his first time up. You got Bonifacio at second, Infante at first. Delgado misses in with a fastball.
As an organization, how great and how fun has it been watching Mike Stanton's progress.
And that's what this season was all about. It was getting these young players in their first full seasons in the big league. Stanton, Morrison, Gabby in his second full season. All our young players, that's the goal, is to get them more comfortable at the major leagues. Having come up mid-season last year, the league having made adjustments to them, you knew that there was going to be some ups and downs with their growth and their development. And I think for us to truly see the type of players that they will be moving forward, you needed them to go through the struggles that they've gone through. And I will say that they've both come through them with flying colors in terms of making adjustments and knowing how the opponent's going to attack them.
Well, let's see how Delgado attacks Stanton with the count 2-0 right now. Let's see if he does attack him. Nope. Change up. And it's 3-0.
They're pitching him like Albert Pujols.
I think they saw about 900 feet of home run yesterday.
Yeah, Delgado was watching.
Yeah, they'll pitch him quite carefully here, especially 3-0.
You would think fastball at the very least here.
And you would think green light.
And it's outside.
And you would think ball 4.
And Stanton trots down to first. Now, Mike, we've already had a few emails like this. This is from Dan in Jacksonville. Dear Mr. General Manager, as Roger McDowell trots out to the mound, can you please offer Mike Stanton a 10-year, $160 million contract now and not lose him in a bidding war in 5 years.
10 years, 160.
He might not take that.
I need a little time to break that down and see.
But that's I think what the viewer is trying to say, throw the numbers out, throw the 10, 160 out. But you look across the state and see what the Rays have done to Evan Longoria. Is that possible with a guy like Mike Stanton?
No, that's something that we get in the off season. We sit down with our owner and see if that's something that we want to entertain. I think the most important thing is that you have this young talent under control, and the people of South Florida, people everywhere, know that we have him under control for the next 5 years, and that we'll see him when the doors of that brand new stadium open next year.
Logan Morrison goes after the first pitch.
That's a tough pitch after Delgado really didn't come close throwing a strike to Mike Stanton. His first pitch to Lomo was a good changeup.
He's out in front of him now, 0-1. Morrison hit a high pop into shallow right his first time up. Bags loaded, 1 out. Braves a 3-0 lead. Morrison a slicing liner. Gonzalez a tag. It's a double play, and the inning goes up in smoke. Right place, right time. You got time for another half inning?
Sure. For you guys, always.
All right.
Alex Gonzalez just gets Infante. Not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Marlins. Vice President, General Manager Mike Hill is with us. I've always wanted to ask this and never have had a Marlin official in the booth when I've read this. Have you ever prosecuted anyone for illegally disseminating or retransmitting in any form any part of this telecast?
That would probably be a question for New York.
If they go to the legal department for that.
I bet they probably have.
Here's a 2-0 to Jason Hayward. And it's 3-0. All right, we're doing the email and the Twitter thing. And we do have, speaking of New York, Joe in New Jersey has this for all of us, and it involves the Braves. Just want to let you know I'm a huge Atlanta Brave fan. I have MLB Extra Innings up here in Jersey. So when the Braves are away, I see the opposing team broadcast channel. And of all the opposing team announcers, I like you guys the best. The question, thank you, Joe, for that. The question is simple. What's your prediction on the Braves holding on to the wild card?
I guess I'll start.
I'll let Mike start.
I hope we severely dampen those those chances with 2 more wins here their next 2 games.
But the Braves, obviously, after they leave South Florida, still have games to play. What do you think of the Braves down the stretch after they leave?
Well, I've looked at the schedules, and I know they play Washington, and then they finish up with the Phillies. It looks like the Cardinals may have they play the Cubs.
Cardinals finish up a series with the Mets.
The Mets, then the Cubs, then the Astros.
And the Astros. So, my answer, I guess, would be I think they can hold on, but I think it's going to be a tough go for them in postseason with two of their key starters, Jair Jurgens and Tommy Hanson, banged up. They don't know if they're going to get them back. Derek Lowe has not had a good year.
And Joe, I feel your pain and Freddie's pain certainly without those two starters. Remember last year, Bobby Cox's last season, they got to the postseason. They didn't have Chipper Jones or Martin Prado. And that series against the Giants was closer, I think, than people remember. Dominguez to his left. That's a gorgeous play by the rookie third baseman.
That's a play that you've been telling us about for a couple of years.
Now, that's one thing with Matt Dominguez. The glove is as advertised, and hopefully the people have seen the range, the hands, the accuracy with the throws, and you hit a ball to third base, more times than not, it's going to be an out.
All right, Mike, we've got some JJ questions. How, all summer we were waiting and hoping, and now finally it seems like there is progress in his throwing program.
There's definitely progress. He has been up and off the mound. He's throwing all his pitches, and here in the next few days we're going to see him in a live batting practice format and facing hitters, and I think we'll have a peace of mind as we go into the offseason that JJ will be healthy and can head home knowing that he's healthy and prepare himself to come back and do what he did the early part of this season.
Michael Bourne to right field. Michael Hill, thank you.
Oh, my pleasure,
and
guys.
thanks all season long for
good job, Mike. Thank you.
You're always honest and very candid. And we appreciate that.
All right, let's get some runs.
There you go. Power and Light FPL is working to make its system stronger, smarter, cleaner, and even more efficient. By the all-new Chevy Cruze. See your local Chevrolet dealer. And by El Dorado. Shop online. Visit ElDoradoFurniture.com. In Miami tonight, Braves have a 3-0 lead, bottom of the fourth on Star Wars night. Here's Frank Fort. Frank?
All right, guys, it is Star Wars night here at the ballpark. Apparently, I'm in the Princess Leia section. So how long did it take to get here from the Dagobah system?
I don't know, maybe like 30 minutes.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay, and who's on your right here? Is this Luke over here?
Yeah, this is Luke.
But you're brother and sister. You shouldn't be on a date.
No, we're boyfriend and girlfriend.
Brother, sister. Okay. Yeah. Well, you know that. Now, do you dress up as Princess Leia often, like for Halloween, anything like that?
Every weekend I dress up as Princess Leia.
And how long does it take to get your hair in those tight buns that are out there?
Like 8 hours.
8 hours?
Yes.
Okay.
It's all hairspray.
Okay. Very stiff hair. All right. And this is the self-proclaimed Miami Princess Leia.
Yes.
But you used to live in Atlanta, so which is it? The Atlanta Princess Leia or the Miami Princess Leia?
The Miami Marlins Princess Leia.
Okay, so you're looking forward to the new ballpark.
Yes, absolutely.
It does look a little bit like a spaceship from the air.
Yep.
But now, do you dress up as Princess Leia for any holidays or other occasions?
First time.
First time?
First time.
And have any stormtroopers hit on you?
Not yet. I'm a virgin.
Okay. Well, I don't know how to follow that, guys, but they're apparently having a good time here. We've got some Darth Vader masks behind. Lord Vader, how are you? And I just want to make it clear, he is not my father. Guys, back to you.
Frank, say hi to the stormtrooper down there.
Well, yeah. Nice job on that interview, Frank.
Gabby Sanchez with a deep fly ball. John Buck is up. And Donnie Murphy. You know, I enjoyed that interview quite a lot.
Terrific job.
Actually. The first Princess Leia and the Miami Princess Leia.
See, Frank's not leaving. Frank, the interview's over. Frank.
He took his earpiece out, Tommy.
Oh.
Get Frank a beer. Here's the 1-0. It's a strike on the inside corner. Well, Randall Delgado has survived tonight. He gave up 2 hits in the second, got out of it.
Just socializing, guys, that's all.
Hey,
spending an extra minute, Frank, with our guests.
Knock yourself out. I mean, it's not every night that you run into 2 Princess Leia.
Yeah, apparently it was a party spaceship. The Millennium Falcon was had an onboard party on the way to the ballpark tonight.
It's all good, Frank. It's all good.
It's all good.
John Buck swinging and missing. The count is 1-2. Delgado has walked 1. He is yet to strike out a hitter. Buck had a line drive single in the second. He bounces that one up to the plate.
Yeah, the low number of walks. One of the reasons Delgado has been able to hang in there and keep the pitch count fairly manageable. We mentioned a guy out of Panama, a young kid, probably thrilled at the record-setting performance by Mariano Rivera. 602 saves.
That's in.
You know, because of all the opportunities, the other amazing thing about Mariano Rivera, with Brian Sanchez getting loose, 42 saves in postseason.
Breaking ball, clobbered, left center field. Racing over is Bourne, and he's there. At the track, he hauls it in. Wrong part of the park to hit that one. AT&T brings us trivia in the 4th inning. Well, it's a crowded Braves bullpen. We flip the phone. Who holds the Braves all-time record for saves in a season? Is it Bedrock?
Steve Bedrosian, I don't think so. I know he had a year or a number of years in the 40s.
Is it Smoltz?
I think Smoltz had a year where he was into the 50s. And of course, Craig Kimbrell this year, 45, saw number 46 go into the blue seats last night.
Donnie Murphy pops one up. Freeman and Hayward after it. And it lands in the Marlins bullpen. James wants to know, and Michael Hill has left, but I think you can answer this one. James wants to be a Major League general manager. How can he work his way up the ladder to be one? He is not a former baseball player. Thank you.
I think that's a great question, James. I think a lot of you could follow the paths of a lot of current general managers, and the one start is to get involved with a major league team. If that door gets open, it really doesn't matter what position. And I can remember years ago, and I think I told this story, Dave Dombrowski, when he started as a kid out of college, his parents wanted him to go into law school. He wanted to go into baseball. And he got involved with the White Sox and followed Roland Heeman around wherever he went. You know, got him coffee if necessary.
That's a pretty good guy to follow around. Murphy pops this one back. And Chipper Jones retreating, makes the catch, and Randall Delgado standing up strong with a 3-0 lead. Williams, the social media queen, apparently has changed her Twitter address, haven't you?
Yes, it's a little more professional now, more easy to identify with me. I dropped the Sunny, which was my nickname, and now it's just AllisonW_sports. So I'm a little easier to find on Twitter now. And you guys got the conversation going on Twitter about who with the Marlins has the best hair, and it seems that people like the long locks. Brian Peterson and Lomo are tied for first, which I'm not really surprised by, but this is surprising. Right behind them is John Buck, who is bald, and Craig Minervini is tied with Buck for what would be, I guess, third place. So Minervini getting some votes for the best hair as well. But right now it's Lomo and Petey in a deadlock for first place for best hair with the Marlins on Twitter.
Craig hasn't aged in the last 20 years.
No, he has not.
Here's the 2-1. And Martin Prado pops it up. Infante is over. And he makes the catch. There are the locks. Time for the Keep Your Edge Spotlight, brought to you by Just for Men Mustache and Beard. Gonzo just keeps hurting the Marlins with the bat and with the glove. This double play snuffed out a Marlin rally. He's giving the Braves the edge. You two can keep your edge with Just for Men Mustache and Beard. Infante to his left gathers it in, and Chipper Jones an 0 for 3 working tonight.
See, Rich, the question I have for Allison, not being knowledgeable of all that, I do tweet, though, occasionally. Is that easy to do, to change your handle and all that? Is that easy to do?
It's funny you should ask. It's easy to do, but then the problem I had is on my phone, I couldn't get to my profile. I couldn't get any of my mentions, and I couldn't access my timeline on my phone. So I tweeted that I was having problems for my computer, and all of these great followers helped me out and told me to basically uninstall Twitter and then reinstall it, and from there it worked.
That would mess me up totally. I'd have to get a new phone.
Yeah, I was a little worried there, but the people in the Twitter world are very helpful and helped me out there.
How many followers did you have on your old address, and now how many do you have on your new address?
I'm trying to think. I think the first time we plugged it on our first Email Twitter Tuesday that I was a part of, I was low. I was like 150, something like that. And I think I'm up over 700, so my head's getting pretty big. I'm feeling pretty important, guys.
Nice. Nice. Here's the 1-1, swing and a miss. Ugla with a count 1-2. Dan has struck out and bounced out. Been a weird night for Anibal Sanchez. A real labor through the first couple of innings. He's at 82 pitches, and here he is in the top of the 5th. Ugla swing and a miss. Uggla's gone down swinging twice. That's a 9-pitch inning. All of a sudden, Sanchez is right on it. We answer our trivia question brought to you by AT&T.
Rich, I'm going Smoltzy.
I'm going Bedrosian.
All right.
Braves all-time record for saves in a season. Flip the phone, please. You're right with Smoltz. 2002, 8 against the Marlins. Dr. David Weinstock joins us now from the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute, Harvard Medical School, lifelong Baltimore Orioles fan. Grew up in Baltimore.
You have suffered a long time.
83 was a really good year.
And as you can tell from his shirt, he is here as part of the Star Wars Stand Up to Cancer initiative. Lucasfilms with the Blu-ray reissue of the Star Wars trilogy and series is also providing funds to Stand Up to Cancer. So how did you get involved with George Lucas, Stand Up to Cancer, and how does this all benefit as Dominguez pops one up to the shortstop?
So I am one of now 26 innovative research grant recipients from Stand Up to Cancer, and they provide my laboratory at the Dana-Farber with support to do innovative research that's high risk, high reward, and can really get new therapies to patients within a very short period of time. Stand Up to Cancer is really a very unique organization, and they've partnered with both Major League Baseball, has been incredibly supportive, including the Marlins, as well as Lucasfilms. And Lucasfilms, with the re-release of Star Wars and the Blu-ray edition, is giving a lot of support to Stand Up to Cancer, and I had the great fortune of being able to throw out the first pitch today.
Now, wait a minute. You were dressed as Darth Vader?
That's funny stuff.
There we go. Here it is.
There we go.
Our camera adds 10 pounds.
This is like Jim Palmer without the leg kick.
Okay.
You didn't tell me you were going to do that.
Here's John Baker. All right, can you give us an example of what funding has done for a lab like yours in terms of innovations and progress in the fight against cancer?
Well, I can tell you my own experience. So we were lucky enough to discover a mutation within a kind of leukemia. It sits on the outside of the leukemia cell. And we know that that mutation drives the growth of these leukemias. And with support from Stand Up to Cancer, we've been able to develop drugs that target that directly. We've been able to show in mice first, and now we're moving into humans, that if we give these drugs, we can kill those leukemia cells with very little toxicity. And now we're applying the same kind of approaches to look in lymphomas and other blood cancers, to move on to all kinds of solid tumors and do exactly the same thing. Come up with targets, drugs that hit those targets and move very quickly into humans. And like I said, we're only a very, very small part of the Stand Up to Cancer initiative. There's really an incredible amount of work going on out there.
Here's the 1-2. Baker swings and misses at a ball in the dirt. Did he foul tip it? If he did, he's still alive. McCann is saying it wasn't tipped, but the ball did hit the dirt.
So, Doctor, the funding is what you're talking about is ever so important.
The funding makes all the difference in the world, and you'd have to live inside a cave somewhere to know that to not know that the government's having trouble right now supporting everything it needs to do, and that includes cancer research. And so, an organization like Stand Up to Cancer, it really fills in that need. And I should say, I'd be remiss if I didn't say that, if I've convinced you the importance of that institution, then you can text the word STAND to 40202, and that'll donate $10 directly to researchers like me.
40202. Just text the word STAND. Now, we heard this weekend from doctors at the Joe DiMaggio Children's Hospital, pediatric oncologist. You've got the University of Miami here. I was in Seattle a long time, where they have the Fred Hutchinson Cancer Research Center. Do all of these hospitals and centers benefit from Stand Up to Cancer, or is it just your institute, or is it a national initiative?
So there's two answers to that. There are Stand Up to Cancer supported researchers all around the country at many different institutions. But I think one of the really unique things about the organization is that collaboration is their mantra. So they want people at Harvard working with people in Miami, working with people in Arizona, working with people in California and everywhere else in the country. Because it's only when we all start working together and stop competing with each other, and we have the adequate funds to do it, that we're really going to be able to make great advances. And
I know David Hill and everybody at Fox Sports has been on board. We've worn our Stand Up to Cancer pins on Fridays all season long, on Fox Major League Baseball, Fox NFL Sunday as well. So that's been a big part of Fox Sports' year.
I've really found it incredible how many different institutions have stepped up, and here you can see on the screen the Stand Up to Cancer website. Stand Up to Cancer is also hosting an auction online on eBay with some really incredible things related to Star Wars, including a dinner one-on-one with George Lucas himself.
Really?
Yeah.
See, Frank already has dinner with Princess Leia, and I'm not sure what he paid for it, but dinner with George Lucas would be incredible.
There are a lot more Princess Leias out there than I thought there were.
Yeah, Frank found that out about a half inning ago.
Did we give the website where that auction is?
So you can go to eBay directly, or you can go to ebay.com/Star Wars if you want to get there even faster. And the auction's been open since the day of the release of the Blu-ray.
Nice. Here's a 3-1 to Emilio Bonifacio. He takes a strike. Next year, the Orioles. I'm telling you, next year.
Well, I think next year, this is the place where baseball is going to be exciting with the new stadium. You're not going to be able to get a ticket.
Next year, you'll be out at the new ballpark.
I hope so.
Yeah, and you'll come by and visit us, and we'll have you on the air again.
Is that an invitation?
Sure. Absolutely.
We'll have an unbelievable booth and a terrific view of downtown Miami.
And we'll wear our Stand Up to Cancer pins. We don't have them on because we usually put them on Friday, so you took us a little bit by surprise, but
we can kick it up a notch from pins. We can get you hats, shirts, pants.
Hey, anything that we can do to further the cause, we're into that.
Absolutely.
It's safe to say, and I know Rich and I can attest to this, and you hear it all the time, because everybody is touched by cancer somehow. Relative, friend.
There's no doubt about it. It's a pleasure to go to work every day and feel like you're doing something important, and to travel around the country and meet people, talk to them about their experiences with cancer, and to realize that we're all in this together, and we've got this incredible opportunity right now. We've got the technology, we've got the know-how, and we've got the ability to make these diseases, a thing of the past. But we've just got to do it.
Cancer, and I'm sure everybody in the audience knows someone or themselves has had a first-person experience with cancer. Today, the Arizona Diamondbacks announced that their president, Derek Hall, has prostate cancer. And with testing in elevated numbers, diagnosed as positive, revealed tumors. The date for surgery to remove has not been scheduled, but that was announced today by the Arizona Diamondbacks. The Marlins young outfielder Logan Morrison lost his father to non-smoking lung cancer in the off-season.
No, you can't avoid it. It's a part of our life, and none of us want it to be. I can relate a personal story There's an incredibly talented PhD scientist who works in my own laboratory. Came from the Netherlands, started doing leukemia research about 6 months after joining the lab. Walked into my lab literally in tears, and his 9-month-old had just been diagnosed with cancer. And thank goodness his son is doing very well now and is in complete remission. But the irony of dedicating your life to fighting that disease and having come so close, to be doing research at the bench all day long, studying the disease that your son has, we can't get away from it.
Infante sends that one foul. Randall Delgado's pitch count is up around 85. Remember, one of the themes for the Braves have been getting a pitcher through the 5th inning, into the 6th and the 7th inning, and shortening their bullpen. And so far, Delgado has kept the Marlins off the board. Infante putting up a real struggle here with a count 2-2. Bonifacio at first. And a ground ball base hit into left field. So once again, Bonifacio and Infante are on, as they were in the 5th inning. And here comes Mike Stanton. Closing day, of course, the final game for the Marlins, the Florida Marlins, in this stadium, September 28th, 4:10. You can stay after the game. They will unveil the all-time Marlins team, the all-time Florida Marlins team. Past greats, Jeff Conine, Benito Santiago, Gary Sheffield, Mike Lowell, all will be in attendance. It's closing day, and you can get tickets at 1-877-MARLINS or go to marlins.com. Here's Mike Stanton. Doc, you don't want to miss a Mike Stanton at bat. I don't know if you were here last night, but he hit 900 feet worth of home run. He put one up above the Paul Warfield sign in left field, about 10 rows up there, and then hit one in the blue seats out in left center field, 461 feet.
Wow. Yeah, he's having a great year.
He is.
He's hit 30 how many home runs?
34.
Oh, that's great.
Delgado has been very careful.
Yeah, and because of that, because of the number of home runs, because of the 2 he hit last night, the last 2 at-bats, he's seen nothing to hit with men on base.
Our Degree player profile brought to you by Degree Adrenaline.
He could hit an Earl Weaver favorite right now.
Oh, you got that right.
Earl Weaver is a South Florida resident. Pitch misses down low.
The only hitters at the same age, at the age of 21, with more home runs, Ken Griffey Jr. at 60, and A-Rod had the same amount, 56.
Well, let's see if he gets anything to hit here, 3-0. He did. Now the question is, will Delgado double up on the fastball? Logan Morrison is on deck. He's popped up and lined into a double play. Stanton is bounced out and walked. 3-1.
That fastball in pretty good location.
Runners will be on the move. Bonifacio from second, Infante from first. Stanton, a high chopper. Gonzalez goes and gets the good hop and flips to first. Doctor, thank you for all of your work.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for the visit, and good luck with the initiative.
Thank you very much. Go Marlins.
All right, thank you.
Padre?
Yes.
Yep.
All right.
Sure is.
I'm going to do that.
You have to say it right.
I am going to do it.
Marlins Baseball está disponible en español vía Zap y es presentado por KFC.
Cookie, yo soy tu padre.
Hey, papi, ¿qué pasó? That's great. How you guys doing?
We're doing good. It's it's a type of game. At one point, you want to say the Marlins seem like they're out of it, but you look up, it's just 3-0.
Well, it's still a lot of times to do it, and we've done it quite a bit. And the only thing is surprising for me is that Sanchez is out of the game.
Yeah, it looked like he still had a few innings left, right?
Well, there's Sanchez. It's a different. It's a different.
Yeah, I
Sanchez.
agree. We had a guest on last inning. Didn't really talk about it when John Baker pinch hit, but with the way Anibal had thrown the last couple of innings, he still had an inning or two left. I could see pinch hitting maybe if there were a couple of men on base, but at the time there wasn't anybody on base.
I agree.
He had 11 guys out in order. He was around 80-something pitches, and it was leading off the inning. It wasn't as if there was a situation at hand where potentially some runs could be scored.
83 pitches at that point. 3-0 Atlanta on top. Now, Star Wars for you guys. Was that big for you growing up, Raul? Cookie, were you into I'm sure your kids.
I wasn't born yet.
I'm sure your kids were into Star Wars.
And a galaxy a long, long time ago, right?
Listen, guys, I got 16 grandchildren. Do you think they don't love that movie? You bet you. You know, it's great.
Were you guys Star Wars fans, or were you more of the Trekkies?
I was more Star Wars because my oldest son, who's 33, was kind of into Chewbacca and all the Star Wars when they came out in the 70s.
That's a bad.
So that's I was a little more Star Wars than Trekkie.
That's a bad-looking Wookiee. I mean, come on, somebody. I feel bad. You know, I want to go down there and give him $30 and say, go to the dry cleaners. Get it fixed up, all right?
Oh, God.
Tina Turner had a better do than that.
Tighten it up there.
It's a bad hair day.
It is. All right, guys, have a good show.
All right, guys.
We'll let you get some runs right now. We'll let you get some runs next inning.
You got it.
All right.
Brian Sanchez to Freddie Freeman. A lot of things going on tonight on an email and Twitter Tuesday. Star Wars night, the Stand Up to Cancer Initiative. Cookie and Raul. Michael Hill has been here. Freddie Freeman at the plate. Smacks one foul. Now, we've seen the person who comes dressed as Chewy many times in this ballpark. Now, there's the Chewy that was the official Chewy, and that's the unofficial Chewy. Although it looks like someone's actually posing for a picture with unofficial. Look at the teeth, for instance. The teeth on the left, obviously, some cosmetic whitening.
That's a more modern day.
Maybe some orthodonture. Can I see the other? Now look at those teeth. Oh boy. Hold your tongue, Tommy Hutton. Here's the 2-2 pitch to Freeman. Into center field. Back goes Bonifacio. Still back. At the wall. Gone. Dead center. Freddie Freeman, his 20th. And the Braves stretch it to 4-0.
You had mentioned the mini slump Freddie Freeman had been in. But if you go back after his poor start, you and I have talked about it a number of times. He was hitting in the 220s, but he's come on. He's managed the mini slump, and it took this one deep to center field.
Popped up. Buck for a look. Right now, things are reversed from last night. You got the Braves up 4-0, and certainly Atlanta fans feel good about that. As well, the Cardinals are back home against the Mets, and the Mets made the Braves' lives miserable this weekend, took 2 of 3 from them. The Mets lead the Cardinals Fish just can't get Alex Gonzalez out this year. Alex Gonzalez, who was 1 for 4 last night, in the series in Atlanta was 8 for 11 with a homer and 7 RBIs. And now in this series, he is 3 for 7. So he's 11 for his last 18 against the Fish.
Alex Gonzalez is going to hate to see this stadium come to an end for Marlins baseball.
And the Mets just added a run in the top of the 3rd, so news is all good if you're a Braves fan tonight. Cardinals losing 2-0, 3rd inning. Braves winning 4-0, 6th inning. The Giants tonight run into a possible Cy Young Award winner. They've got the Cy Young Award winner from the last 2 seasons, Tim Lincecum, against the guy that might win it this year in Clayton Kershaw.
That's the premier pitching matchup in baseball tonight.
The Giants have won 8 in a row. They're having another great run in September. But is it too late? It might be too late to catch the Diamondbacks, but they are closer to the Braves than they are to the Diamondbacks.
How close is that Cy Young race going to be? We've talked about Halladay and Lee. You mentioned Kershaw. What about Ian Kennedy, who won his 20th game last night for the Diamondbacks?
Roy Halladay lost last night. Cliff Lee, I believe, pitches tomorrow night.
Cliff Lee's pitching now. He's pitching the second game of that doubleheader.
That was the curve. Washington won the first game of that doubleheader 4-3. Sanchez puts on Hayward. Randy St. Clair's on his way out to the mound. Washington won the first game of that doubleheader 4-3. Michael Stutz took the loss. Tom Gorzalani the win. That was a 10-inning win. And in the second game, which is underway, Washington has 3 on the board against Cliff Lee. Danny Espinosa has hit his 20th homer. And it's 3-0 in the bottom of the 7th.
Now, you talked about Ian Kennedy with 20 wins. It's becoming every year fewer and fewer. Last year, Halladay and Adam Wainwright were 20-game winners. There were no 20-game winners in 09. There were no 20-game winners in 06 and 07.
Sounds like a trend. Not quite a Toyota trend, but a trend nonetheless. Here's a Toyota trend for you. All-time series is tied 74-74 here at Sun Life between the Braves and the Marlins. We had an emailer early wanted to know if the Marlins and the Braves had ever swept the season series against each other. And I don't think that has happened. Well, the crack staff can check. Brooks Conrad is up.
And by the way, just checking, Rich, Clayton Kershaw goes for win number 20 tonight, leading the league in ERA.
Nelson in Boynton Beach wants to know, why can't players use whipped cream pies instead of shaving cream pies? It costs about the same, and it's healthier in general, and it tastes much better.
I think it's for dietetic reasons.
Bavaro and Christian Martinez. I think it's simply because Major League clubhouses don't stock whipped cream. At least none that I know of. But shaving cream, plenty of it.
But the whipped cream would not burn as much as the shaving cream. I think that's a good idea.
I would vote for just plain pies. I mean, banana cream.
Stock the clubhouse with pie.
Key lime
pie.
Especially down here. Brooks Conrad up the middle. Nice play by Infante. Murphy's toe was still on the bag. Nifty play by both up the middle just to get that out. But Jack McKeon pinch hit for Anibal Sanchez, who, as we talked about, was cruising. Brian Sanchez has not had the same type of success.
Well, and Freddie Gonzalez pinch hit for his pitcher, so he'll have to get 4 innings out of his bullpen. We talked about it. The Braves have played more extra inning games than any team. And because of that, he's had to use his bullpen for 50 innings just in those extra inning games.
Julie in Rockledge, Florida. As the end of the season is almost here, she's planning for 2012, planning to be there for opening day. Can you recommend some nice hotels close to the new ballpark? Well, there's a ton of them. Alex Gonzalez getting some medical attention right now at third base. I don't know what he did.
Wow, looks like he's going to come out of the game. He's limping.
Jack Wilson will come on to run for him. Last ground out. Here's Gonzalez. He kind of pulled up at the end. You can just see by the expression on his face he's upset. Bourne is up. The count's 1-0. You have any hotel recommendations downtown?
You know, I haven't stayed that many nights downtown Miami. I know there's some gorgeous hotels.
Intercontinental, the Trump. Hey, the Mandarin.
I've stayed at the Intercontinental.
The Mandarin Oriental is a great hotel downtown. Infante, I'll flip this second. There's a Ritz down there, a Marriott down there. Go to TripAdvisor. There's an app for that. In Miami tonight, Sun Life Stadium, it's been all Braves. Look at the humanity here. On Star Wars night, you got Tommy Hutton, Frank Fort, Allison Williams, Jeff Conine, Freddie Freeman, John Sulser's our producer, Jim Holly's our director, Ken Lee.
And Jack Wilson's our new shortstop.
Ken Lee is our graphics coordinator. Jim Holly is our resident Star Wars expert.
Yeah, and there's Christian Martinez.
James is the email wrangler tonight, and Christian Martinez flings one in there.
By the way,
Logan Morrison for a strike.
Rich, one more hotel suggestion. If you don't want to stay in downtown Miami, splurge. Go over the Causeway. Go over to South Beach. One of our producers' favorite hotels, the Delano.
Into right, and a sliding catch by Hayward at the 20-yard line. It'll be first down Braves.
And I can say, one All-Star break, my wife and I had a wonderful time at the Delano. Beautiful hotel.
So, with all the hotels in mind, full season ticket plans in the new Marlins ballpark are available now. The Diamond Club is already sold out. Several other premium areas are close to capacity. Secure your seats today. Call the new Marlins ballpark sales headquarters, 1-877-411-2012, or go to marlins.com/new ballparks. Gabby lines one into right, and Hayward again a running catch. The Marlins can't cover that guy out there in the secondary, Tom.
No, they can't. They're going to have to double team him coming up. But a couple of good swings, and the unfortunate part, Hayward's been there to make 2 nice plays.
There is an email, and I've got a long list of emails that have been sent by the Wrangler, and you try to pick and choose, but there's an email a while back from a fan that sounds like they have purchased or are in the process of purchasing a season ticket package and has a tour of the new ballpark this weekend and wants to know, while he's on his tour, what should he look for? Anything in particular you would point out? I would say check out the pool location in left field. Check out how close. Go up to like the upper deck and see how close those seats are to home plate. See how close they are to the playing field. Go out to the home run porch.
Boy, we really think of that when we're at a lot of other ballparks, just coming from Nationals Park, Washington, D.C. Some of the seats in the upper deck are so far away.
Here's the 1-1.
One more hotel, and then that's it.
What are you getting? Text from
the crack staff has been
from all the concierges in Miami.
All my concierge friends, and how could I have forgotten this? I've played golf there. The old Biltmore Hotel, beautiful golf course, great old hotel.
And if you stay downtown and you park your car at that hotel, you can just take a cab, maybe a water taxi, or come on out to the new ballpark. There's the dimensions of the new ballpark. 422. There are going to be. That's the look from downtown into the new ballpark. 344 to the left, 335 to right. Power alley in left center, just 386. And that little curve out in deep left center at 422 is where the water feature is. Not where the pool is. The pool will actually be out beyond left field.
I think one game next year, Frank will be out there with the Princess Leia's out in the pool area.
Don't get me in trouble, Tommy.
See, that's the naughty Princess Leia there. Buck goes down. And whether it's Randall Delgado or Christian Martinez, the Marlins haven't done much offensively tonight. Let's go to Allison Williams.
Rich, it's Email Twitter Tuesday, and while yes, we want you all to follow us at FS Marlins and myself, Allison_sports, but there's also some other Twitter people that you should be following if you are a baseball fan. Baseball Reference, a great source. There's their handle. For entertainment purposes, Jose Canseco, Ozzie Guillen, also very interesting on there as well. And Lomo, of course, here for the Marlins. An interesting one, Old Hoss Radbourn, who's a guy that tweets as if he were the pitcher from the late 1800s, who, of course, won the Triple Crown in 1884. CJ Wilson, I follow him. He's always entertaining at Straight Edge Razor. And a couple guys for the Braves that are on Twitter quite a bit. They're rather Twitterific. That's a new word I came up with earlier. Freddie Freeman, one of the young guys at first base there. He's at Freddie Freeman. He's got well over 30,000 followers. Doesn't tweet a ton, though. So if you want somebody that's on there a lot, Peter Moylan out of the Bullpen has quite a few followers, and he tweets quite a bit as well. So he's another good one. And so is Chris Medlin at Chris Medlin54. All good and entertaining follows for all of you Twitter and baseball fans. Rich?
All right, good stuff.
I know we like the Ken Rosenthal.
Chris Hatcher throws a strike. Martin Prado, Chipper Jones, and Dan Uggla. It's been a rough night for the Fish. Anibal Sanchez was unsteady at the start, then sharpened up. Got an early hook from Jack McKeon for a pinch hitter. Offensively, the Marlins were unable to get anything going against Randall Delgado. Christian Martinez has turned in a scoreless inning. Ground ball into left field. That's a base hit. Marlins sprawling after that one. Dominguez and Murphy. You see Hatcher on the mound. There's a great story that Allison had, I believe it was on Marlins Live, about Chris Hatcher. Hey, Dub, if you want to give the fans that may have missed that story about just a chance meeting that Hatcher had early in the season that turned into a very surprise package that he returned.
Yes, he did something that, players do a lot. He just threw a ball during BP up to a 13-year-old boy who was there with his son, but he did it because his father let Hatcher know that he was about to be deployed overseas. So Hatcher flipped him the ball and walked away and didn't really think a whole lot of it afterwards. Well, yesterday he got a package in the mail. It was an American flag along with a certificate saying that it was an official patrol flag. It had patrolled over 780 miles in Iraq. It just meant so much to First Sergeant Joseph Helmstad that Hatcher would do that for him and his son. It was their last weekend together before he was deployed for his third tour. He just wanted to say thanks to Chris and let him know what it meant. And Chris sent him an email, let him know that he was going to be getting some attention because we've been giving it some love. It's just a really neat story. And Chris said he's going to frame the flag and it will be the centerpiece in his memorabilia room for him. And he was very touched by the thoughtfulness of First Sergeant Helmstad. He said, they do so much for us. It was such a small, simple thing I did for him, and to get that thanks really meant a lot.
That is a terrific story, and it really caught Hatcher by surprise. You as a baseball player, you run into fans all the time, especially guys in the bullpen. Fans are always asking guys in the bullpen for balls, or can I get something, one of these or one of that? And
I used to think always the greatest ballpark to interact with the fans during batting practice, you out there shagging before game during BP, was in Chicago, Wrigley Field, because the bleachers would always fill up first. And my motto was always get them on your side, because if you had to come into a game and pinch hit and they booed you, it would be bad. So, you were friendly to them, got them on your side, give them a few baseballs, and you had some fun.
There's an email about that from Omar in Palm Beach Gardens. 1-0 pitch coming to Uggla. It was 0 for 3 tonight. Hatcher misses high. It's 2-0. When Omar was a young baseball fan, catching a foul ball was rare. Now, players, ball girls, guys, dudes, and even umpires will throw a ball to a fan in the crowd. Has baseball promoted this change?
I don't know if they've promoted it, but at one time they discouraged it. Years ago, you would get a phone call from upstairs from the general manager or owners of the ball club. Hey, quit giving balls away. I mean, they'd have binoculars on you in batting practice. And I think it's been encouraged.
And that's because the owners were trying to save money?
Sure, yeah.
The Charlie Finleys of the world were counting every penny. Well, Hatcher right now is in some trouble. He's having trouble throwing strikes to Ugla, and he's got some big left-handed bats right around the bend. Jose Seda is up, but he's a ways away from being warm in the bullpen. So if Hatcher doesn't get Ugla, he's going to have to face McCann.
That's the kind of swing that you like to see on a 3-1 fastball. Aggressive out front a little bit was Dan Ugla. So you have to be careful with this next pitch.
Ugla, career high 35 homers. And he leads all of baseball since the 4th of July. He's hit 23 of his home runs from July 4th on. He still takes maybe the most obscene hack in all of baseball.
And I think of guys, we just saw one, there's another one on this team, but right-handed hitters. You get Johnny Gomes, you get Matt Diaz, and Dan Ugla, tremendously aggressive swings.
Hatcher, 3-2. You know, Hatcher really hasn't mastered the secondary pitch. I mean, you're looking at a guy on the mound that has set some history here. He's only the first player to get to the big leagues as a position player, and the next season come back as a pitcher since, what was it?
Oh, the
early 40s, late 30s?
Yeah, in the 1900s, 30s, 40s.
And he really hasn't mastered the slider, and so all he's got is the 94-mile-an-hour fastball. Ugla knows that. Hatcher knows that. The 3-2. He threw a changeup, and he missed.
I'm amazed that Ugla took it.
That's his third pitch, the changeup.
And that's a pitch that if he does master, and it did miss, he'll be at the big league level for a long time and have lots of success.
You almost got the sense that John Buck, through the whole sequence, thought to himself, you know what? Ugla is pulling this guy's best fastball, and he's pulling it hard. If he keeps throwing fastballs up here, Ugla's going to put one in the seat.
Got to see something different. By the way, the name of that catcher that then became a pitcher was Art Dahl for the Boston Braves, 1935.
I had not committed Art's name to memory, and I apologize to all of our
and nor had I
listeners.
Checked with our notes.
Well, here it is. It's McCann. The bags are loaded. There's nobody out. And Hatcher misses outside. Braves would love to get McCann going for the postseason, as well as the pitching issues. There have been some bats in the Braves lineup that have quieted down. We talked about Freeman's last week.
McCann's is slowed down a little bit because he was on the disabled list with an oblique strain, and I don't know about that last swing.
He almost looked like he injured himself on that.
Well, I may still have some effects of that oblique.
Braves have already lost Alex Gonzalez in this game as he walked off the field after going from second to third. A Brave at every base, a 4-0 lead for Atlanta, and a 1-1 to Brian McCann. High in the air, shallow left. Murphy's out, and Murphy makes the catch. Everybody tagging, but Prado won't budge from third. So Hatcher gets one of the left-handed bats. Here comes Freeman now.
Well, it's a long way for Donnie Murphy to go. McCann, a full hitter, so Logan Morrison, he swung around into left center.
Murphy's a good defensive player.
And we've seen him at third. He was the opening day third baseman. I think shortstop's his natural position. That's where he feels most comfortable.
Freeman hit a blast to center straight away. Probably about 410 feet. His 20th. Jam Lexus presents leaders of the game throughout the season. Rookie home run leaders. Espinoza actually hit his 20th tonight, so he's up at 20 now as well. Jam Lexus, price minus #1. Click jamlexus.com to find out how.
Washington looking to sweep that split doubleheader in Philly.
And beat Cliff Lee in game 2.
Yeah, with a 3-0 lead in the 8th inning.
Braves still have them loaded. 1-1 on Freeman. Freeman has a really unique swing in that the angle of his bat is very different. And having watched him at the end of last year when he really struggled, and even in spring training where he wasn't tearing it up,
and a little bit at the beginning of this year, he got in a hooking habit.
Right, and now he's in the habit of driving it up the middle, which is a good habit to be in, and that certainly has helped his season. Mets 4-3 over the Cardinals in the 4th. 2-1. There's the changeup by Hatcher, a good pitch. Here's the home run. Watch Freeman swing. Our Gunther Volkswagen drive of the game.
That was nice. He stayed back, didn't come over the top and hook. You know, great. I remember hearing Tony Gwynn talk about this. For hitters to get away from hooking balls, when you throw the bat at a ball, you approach and you throw that bottom hand, you're throwing the knob of the bat at the pitcher.
2-2. It stays at 2-2. Hatcher against Freeman. Jack Wilson on deck. He's starting to mix that changeup in a little more.
It also gets the hitters thinking a little bit.
There's your wild card race and your update with the Mets winning in St. Louis. Giants and Dodgers. That's Lincecum against Kershaw.
Yeah, one of the big blows. The Cardinals, I read today that they're probably going to be without Matt Holliday the rest of the year.
That is a big blow.
So last night, I looked in their lineup. They had Berkman in left field. Berkman played left. Alan Craig was in right field.
Diamondbacks are home against Pittsburgh. Pirates have lost 4 in a row. Arizona has a 5.5 game lead over San Francisco. The Giants have still won 8 in a row, and they're in Los Angeles to open that series tonight. 3-2 coming. Freeman, a good battle here. Up the middle. Got one there. Got 2 there. No problem. Chris Hatcher gets a bullet of a double play ball. Still 4-0 Atlanta.
Call-ups, we talk a lot about that, a reward for players who have good years in the minors, but also a reward for coaches or managers. Andy Haynes is up with the Marlins for the remainder of the season. He's the manager of the Greensboro Grasshoppers in his second full year as Greensboro manager, fourth year as a skipper in the Marlins minor league organization, led the Grasshoppers to a 79-60 regular season record, then won the South Atlantic League Championship in the Entomologist Stream Series. The Grasshoppers against the Savannah Sandgnats, they won the best of 5, 3-2. So a very nice job out of Andy Haynes. And Rich and Tommy, you remember the story of Luis Salazar, the Braves minor league coach who lost an eye when he was hit by a ball. In 2010, Andy was hit by a ball during batting practice near the right eye, was completely swollen shut, black and blue, a lot of damage, but they managed to save the eye, and he still has the pair of sunglasses that he wore on that day, which probably, he says, saved his eye. Guys, back up to you.
That's quite a tale as Chipper Jones throws out Donnie Murphy.
Andy Haynes out of Eastern Illinois University and a master's degree from Middle Tennessee State. Had a couple of players to keep your eye on. One, Marlins first-round pick Christian Yelich, hit .312, had 15 home runs. And another kid out of the University of California, Mark Canha, had 25 home runs, 85 RBIs, hit .276.
Marlins could use him tonight. Just 5 hits against Randall Delgado and Christian Martinez.
I think, too, Rich, over the next few days, we'll inquire, because this is always the time of year to do so, and to see what Marlins might be going on to play in the fall league. I think Matt Dominguez might. What Marlins may be going to play winter ball.
I think John Baker might.
We know Bonifacio always does. So we'll try to find out over the next few days what Marlins are going to continue to play a little bit, just to develop.
Here's Peterson now, and as we told you at the outset, he banged the ball off that sore foot again last night. And he's got a Star Wars type protective device there on his foot, Tommy.
Yeah, you see the guys so many times wear the ankle guard. He's been fixed up real nice with that guard covering the shin. Might cut down the speed a little bit.
I think he lifted it off one of the stormtroopers in the pregame ceremony. Peterson lifts that one into left field. Prado is over. Randall Delgado for 5, and now Christian Martinez for 2. All of them scoreless innings. Of sausage, cheese, beer. There they are. The racing sausages. The cheeseheads. Prince.
Possible MVPs.
Oh, man. What's better than a sausage on a Harley? Well, maybe a tailgate party. The Corey Hart Fan Club. That is one big party up in Milwaukee. Jose Seda comes in. If you have not been to a ball game up in Milwaukee, I don't know if there's another major league city that has more tailgaters, more fun, and more beer.
We've done so many hits. Frank, Craig has on the tailgate parties going on before the games. Plus, we're there on a weekend, too. They'll be dividing time a little bit between their Brewers and the Packers.
And getting ready for the postseason.
It's
going to be a fun weekend.
Trying to figure out who they'll be playing.
Yeah, will it be, who's going to win the wild card? That will determine. If St. Louis somehow wins the wild card, then they obviously wouldn't open against St. Louis. They would get the team from the West.
Arizona.
Right. Because the Phillies, since they have the best record, would get the wild card. If the wild card is not the Braves. Follow that. Jack Wilson into center field. Big turn by the speedy shortstop out of Southern California. How did Chris Hatcher get out of the inning with a checkers double play?
Boy, this ball was scorched. So one hopper. Murphy played it well, and then the nice flip with Infante covering. He had a lot of time, and it's our checkers double play of the game.
Here is Hayward. How do you think Jack Wilson feels about all of this wild card stuff? Here's a guy that has played on the Pirates and the Mariners. And I have to go back and look at his bio quickly to see if he was on that Mariner team that actually had a winning record 2 years ago. I don't know if he got there in time for that. This may be the first winning team he's ever played on. That one's up the middle. Infante will make quick work of that. Murphy's turn. Safe at first. Well, the Braves have hit some balls hard up the middle. Infante with a nice play. And Hayward showing good hustle and good speed down the line.
I think Hayward surprises you with how quickly he gets up the line. A little tough in the body position, the flip and all that to turn a double play, but the Marlins almost pulled it off if not for Hayward's speed. Eric Hinsky, another guy who you want to follow around if you want to get to postseason.
Jack Wilson did get to Seattle in 2009, and they were 85-77. So he was on one of the winning teams in Seattle. In 2010, Seattle was a disaster. They were 61-101. Now he finds himself with a chance to get to the postseason for the first time. He could be the next Eric Hinsky, who's been there 4 straight years. Allison, Jack Wilson trending on Twitter today. What's that I hear?
No, Eric Hinsky is on Game Connect on FoxSportsFlorida.com. If you go there right now, there's a lot of social buzz about Hinsky because he got a new do. He's got a new haircut and sporting a mohawk for the first time, it says, since 2008. So they say all is good because Hinsky has a mohawk.
Runner goes, fastball up, Bucks throw. Wow, that was quick. Murphy with a slap tag and thought he had him. Alfonso Marquez, the second base umpire.
John Buck made that a lot closer than I thought because Hayward got a terrific jump. And Buck from his knees gets the throw right there to Murphy. You can't believe the safe call. Let's see. And that's why he can't believe it.
He's out.
I think he had him.
It's a bang-bang call. It's not an easy call for an umpire. And it's a break for the Braves. Seda better pay attention or Hayward will steal third. He's got a big lead. And a strike to Hinsky. Hinsky, in if you follow baseball, you know the story. He's, after a Rookie of the Year season in 2002, sort of a disappointment, but then landed with Boston in 2007 and a pinch hit home run in Game 5 of the World Series. In 2008, got to the World Series with the Rays, lost to the Phillies. In 2009, he was with the Yankees, and of course they won there. Last year with the Braves, he gets to the postseason. Here's the deal about Hinske, though, as opposed to, say, Don Baylor of, 20 years ago, where Baylor had a run of 4 postseasons in a row. Hinske, in the 4 postseasons, Red Sox, Rays, Yankees, Braves, has 7 postseason at-bats. That's it. He helps the teams get there. He just doesn't play a lot once they do.
He has an opportunity to pinch hit a little bit, as opposed to Don Baylor, who was much more instrumental in postseason. Antoine Richardson could pinch run for Hinske.
Don Baylor had a big postseason home run in that wild Red Sox-Angels American League Championship Series that helped set up the Dave Henderson home run against Donnie Moore. Michael Bourne takes a strike. Bourne double back in the second. The Braves got 3 in the second, 1 in the 6th. Marlins have been unable to muster any offense tonight against the likes of Randall Delgado and Christian Martinez. That one fouled at the plate. Jose Seda in for Chris Hatcher. Brian Sanchez took over for Anibal Sanchez. Short night for Anibal Sanchez. That one fouled back. Don Baylor got to the postseason with the Boston in '86, Minnesota in '87, Oakland in '88. There you go. Did they go to the same place? Did Hugo do that? Was that Hugo's work?
Oh, I'm sure it was.
Hugo the barber here. World famous Hugo the barber.
That has Hugo's trademark all over it. You know, I was talking a little bit with the youngster who just went into pinch run, Antoine Richardson, who's a local kid. He graduated from American Heritage up in Boca. Went to Palm Beach Junior College up in West Palm and then on to Vanderbilt. So the kid out of Nassau comes home.
He's been the go-to guy when they've needed a pinch runner. One, two. And Seda strikes out Michael Bourne. So here in the 8th, there are 2 outs. Here comes Martin Prado. FoxSportsFlorida.com has the latest news surrounding the favorite Florida sports teams. Log on. You got Marlins postgame coverage. Sideline changes for the Finns. And of course, a check in and see how the Rays have done tonight as they try to keep the heat on the Red Sox.
Yeah, the Rays trailing 5-0 in the 7th inning at Yankee Stadium.
That would be a strike.
Hey, did you see who started for the Orioles tonight against the Red Sox?
The incredible one?
Yeah, Rick Vandenherk.
Well, it's Email Tuesday, and he traditionally starts on Email Tuesday.
He was 9-13 in AAA with the Orioles, making his second start with the big club.
Vandenherk lasted just 3 innings through 77 pitches. The Holland Hammer apparently was not breaking tonight. Ground ball short. Murphy fires over to first in time. And so Jose Seda has a couple of base runners, but gets through the inning. Still, it's 4-0. The Cardinals and nail down the wild card, our Chevy wild card standings. Cardinals tonight, we're trailing the Mets at last look. Chevy bringing you that look at the wild card standings, and that score holds. It's 4-3 in the 5th. Mets on top of the Cardinals.
Now there is a look at Anthony Varvaro, and I tell you what, the combination, as you pointed out, of Delgado and Martinez. Christian Martinez in his 2 innings threw just 16 pitches.
As you pointed out, the importance for the Braves to have a game where they don't have to go O'Flaherty, Venters, and Kimbrel would be a welcome relief for everybody in an Atlanta uniform.
Freddie Gonzalez would breathe a very large sigh of relief.
Not that they're not good, and not that they couldn't do it, but he just needs to get those guys some rest. With all the Star Wars stuff and the Stand Up to Cancer and Michael Hill, I apologize that we haven't been into the email bag as much as we should have been. Ugla gobbles it up. So let's do some right now. The other day, Hanley said, Tommy, that he would move to third if the Marlins signed Jose Reyes. How likely is that? And what would happen to Matt Dominguez and Emilio Bonifacio?
Well, I tell you what, I don't know how likely it is. I have no idea. I like the concept of that. What it would do to Matt Dominguez, it would help him develop more. But that would be something you wouldn't be worried about if that, in fact, took place. I like the concept. I have no idea if it would happen. But it would give you a very intriguing left side of an infield, and it would give you a leadoff guy with Jose Reyes.
Do you think that Reyes and Hanley on the same team, would they push each other? Because they certainly do that when they face each other. You could see them.
I think they would. But on the other hand, I also think the Mets are going to want Jose Reyes to remain a Met as well.
Annie in Vail, Colorado has an email. Stanton takes a breaking ball for a strike. Not sure if it's baseball Annie, but it's Annie. I watch every Marlins game on MLB Extra Innings here in Vail.
What a beautiful place.
New ballpark question. With players losing fly balls or ground balls in the lights or the sun, are the Marlins going to paint the roof a color that will help players see the ball better? And I think I remember David Sampson saying that it'll be sort of a, I don't know if it's a gunmetal gray, but they tested the roof with fly balls when they painted the roof. And I think there were some players down there, and they got the thumbs up. So yes,
unlike the initial year of the Astrodome,
which was clear glass because the Astrodome had grass, and they needed the sun to grow the grass. And wasn't it a Yankees exhibition game? And Mickey Mantle couldn't see in center field.
He couldn't see, but he hit the first home run in the Astrodome.
And so they figured, oh, let's paint the glass panels.
If the mix says paint, you paint.
And that killed the grass, and thus they invented AstroTurf. 1-2. Stand a ground ball up the middle. Wilson is a very good shortstop, and he shows off a quick release. You forget how good he is if you haven't seen him play in a while. Jack Wilson throws out Mike Stanton. To the ninth, still 4-0.
Well, Rich, yesterday when we were talking about the back end of that bullpen for Atlanta, you said you didn't think they needed a nickname, but everybody likes nicknames. So a few that came up on Twitter for Oventrable, which I think is absolutely terrible, a few that came up on Twitter was the Untouchables, perhaps, for the back end of that bullpen, and then also the late inning Undertakers. So a couple suggestions for that trio of O'Flaherty, Venters, and Kimbrel for the Braves bullpen. Any of those you like, Rich? Are you a fan? Not so much?
I like the Untouchables.
I like the Untouchables, too.
Oventrable, you know, as long as they get the job done, I think Braves fans don't care, and they don't care what you call them, but Kimbrel is nasty. I think he's the Rookie of the Year. Venters could be a closer if the Braves needed him. And O'Flaherty is just a great story, having come from Seattle and blossomed as the seventh inning guy. Sandy Rosario in for the Marlins. Rosario facing Chipper Jones, Dan Ugla, and Brian McCann. Just to finish up some emails in the bottom of the email bag. Sergio in Miami. Rich and Tommy. Glad to hear that Tommy's feeling better. Has there ever been a true home team where every player resided or was born in the city-state of the team. Maybe in the early 1900s.
I would say in the early years, that's a possibility.
See, the highlight of Sergio's email is the PS. Frankfurt would have better chances with Princess Leia if he was dressed as Han Solo.
Or if he looked like Harrison Ford.
Yeah, agreed.
Hey, we've been talking about games played in this ballpark. 4 more games after tonight. A guy who in 95 and 96 played a lot of games in this ballpark, Terry Pendleton, first base coach for the Atlanta Braves.
Bill Tapper, Rosario flips to first and Chipper is out. Millard wants to know, and he's out of Pensacola, how do the umpires get that crease in their caps?
There's Pendleton, a Gold Glove winner, an MVP in the National League, and a one-time Marlin.
There you go. How do umpires get the crease in their caps?
Well, I think they're very efficient in their packing of their large suitcase that they carry all their gear around in.
You don't see any umpires rocking the flat bill, do you, on the caps? You know, or left-handed umpires with the sideways cap.
No, and you just don't see many umpires
with the price tag still on it.
With the Hinsky mohawk either. See, now there's a professional.
Eddie Rapp. You think is there an umpire grooming code? Did they come down hard on Bill Hahn when he lost the mustache?
I think they came down on him to lose the mustache. I think the mustache may have been drawing too much attention. Our good friend Tom down in the umpire's room, he would be able to answer that email about the crease in the umpire's hat.
Johnny in Margate, has there ever been a home run hit to the upper deck in right field?
No. I've seen a couple of balls hit into the tunnels, the runways, at the back end of that first section. I'm not sure I've even seen one in the blue seats in right field.
Uggla spins one down the line, and it's foul. Yeah, the blue seats in right field are a real different story than the blue seats in left field.
Yeah, it's a long way back. If Mike Stanton were left-handed, he'd have a chance to do that.
Same swing, same result.
You know, this game has been a familiar game for the Braves. The Braves lead the major leagues in allowing 1 run or less 40 games. They've had 40 games where their pitching staff has allowed 1 run or less. And, of course, they're 39-1 in those games.
Stephen Kendall wants to know, in your top 10 greatest moments, is it the first time the grounds crew tried to put the tarp on in a rainstorm here in Miami? Which I think soiled the entire nation to the grounds crew here is that one episode in which Tim McCarver showed so much glee. And the grounds crew here now, and they've been in that spot, no problem. They'd have been able to get it done. Ugly just keeps flipping balls over on the right side.
Let's just say we've seen the ground crew at work at Citi Field.
There they are.
Now, the best. They're the best.
The new ballpark will have a tarp, a grounds crew that won't be as great in number, but they do need a tarp because the roof's going to be open whenever the Marlins are not playing and it's closed.
Put a tarp on at night.
Yep, because you have to have it open for sunshine, and you're going to get some rain on it, and so you want to cover the infield. if it's open and it's raining and you're playing that day.
Sandy Rosario trying to put away Dan Uggla. The Marlins have handled Uggla pretty well tonight. He's 0 for 3, walked one time.
Uggla swings and misses and strikes out.
Second, third time tonight now for Uggla. Chases a pitch down. Not happy with himself.
Leo sends this note claiming that he caught CJ's home run ball in the 97 World Series. Section 411, row 9, seat 17. And that CJ even signed it for him. Time has gone by, and he wants to return it to CJ. But the end of the Florida Marlins era seems like an appropriate occasion. How can we arrange for Leo to return this to CJ?
I would say contact through the Marlins Angela Smith. I may be putting Angela on the spot, but I think she would know how to get that started.
On Marlins.com, front office contacts are on the website. And so I believe Angela Smith's email address would be up there, or any of the Marlins front office personnel. So, Leo, that's your best way to go. And do it soon, because CJ is scheduled to be here next week.
You know what's even more incredible, especially to those who have followed the Marlins just in the last few years, is the fact that in the World Series and in postseason, that upper deck was packed with people.
That's a bullet over Stanton, off the wall. Stanton with McCann at first had a shot at second, and Stanton didn't even make a strong throw. McCann stopped at first.
Stanton was pretty much conceding the double by McCann, and McCann was concerned with the rocket arm of Mike Stanton. Or he changed up on the throw when he saw McCann pull up. He might have done that too. Yeah, right there. As he turns to throw, he sees McCann pull up at first base and just shortened up on his throw. Yeah, right there.
Rosario misses up. Freeman battling with a 1-1 count.
Well, the Nationals have put away the Phillies in Game 2. So a sweep by the Nationals in Philadelphia. Nice job by Ross Detweiler.
Yeah, Ross Detweiler beats Cliff Lee. That's Lee's first loss, I think, in what, a month and a half?
And Lee went 7 innings, gave up 11 hits, 3 runs, but just 2 earned runs for the loss.
Mets continue to lead the Cardinals 5-3. So this is a big night for the Braves if they can win this game, and the Mets can hang on in St. Louis.
Drew Storen with his 40th save in that game against the Phillies.
that hit the home plate umpire and Hickox.
They did John Buck turning around, asking Hickox if he's okay. Kind of leaned into it, got him in the shoulder.
And saw that one coming.
Yeah.
Boston, by the way, has a 5-4 lead over Baltimore in the 8th. Adrian Gonzalez has hit his 27th. Freeman, who went out to center field earlier in the game, sends it out to Bonifacio. Marlins down to their last swings, down 4-0, going to the bottom of the ninth.
Eighth inning. On the ground. Grayback almost lost it. Whoa, good job. Haynes pops it up. Leiter wants it. He's got it. They're on their feet again. Comes home. Struck him out. The Marlins have their first no-hitter in history. Al Leiter has done it.
That in our countdown of top 10 moments. 4 games left after tonight. Logan Morrison leads it off for the Fish. We're down to their last 3 outs.
That call by our good friend Jay Randolph.
The Senator. We see him in St. Louis.
You know, on a night when there was concern about the Braves bullpen, the bullpen tonight for Atlanta coming into this inning, 3 innings, no hits, no runs, and 25 total pitches in those 3 innings.
Breaking ball and a strike.
We've talked about the inconsistency of the Marlins in scoring runs. We mentioned the note about the Braves and all the games they've had 1 run or less. The Marlins have had 35 games where they've scored 1 run or less.
Barbaro's breaking ball is up, and the Marlins haven't scored a run against the likes of Randall Delgado, Christian Martinez, and Anthony Varvaro. And no slight to them, but it's not Hudson, O'Flaherty, Venters, and Kimbrel. The good news for Braves fans is that Atlanta has a 4-0 lead here. The bad news is the Cardinals just tied it in the bottom of the 5th, 5-5. John Chimchuk, our statistician, the lone Mets fan in the booth, also not good news. Now Brian McCann takes a direct hit.
John Chimchuk saying it must be a Pelfrey start.
See, I think if you are a Mets fan, you come pre-installed with a good sarcastic wit.
I love to have sarcastic wit with Mets fans.
Well, it's been such a tough year. This has to be agony on you then.
Absolutely.
With the Marlins finishing below the Mets. Here's the 2-2. Who would have thought that at the start of the season? You knew the Mets were going to struggle with the injuries they had. Santana out. Marlins came out of May as the wild card leaders. And then June happens. August happens.
You know, the Marlins have a chance. If they lose this game tonight, they'll be 10-10 in September. But they have a chance to have 4 winning months. But then the 2 losing months were just awful.
Epic.
Yeah.
Gabby Sanchez, a strike.
The 5-23 June and the 7-20 August.
It's a Javi Vasquez, Derek Lowe start tomorrow night. Lowe is 9-15. Vasquez 11-11. Foul back to the screen, and it's 1-2. Freddie Gonzalez, Roger McDowell, and the Braves able to rest the bullpen tonight.
Good news for Freddie, good news for Roger McDowell, Braves pitching coach.
Chopper to chipper. Gabby's out.
That chopper didn't get high enough to get into the lights.
Fish down to their final out tonight. It's John Buck. Want to know? In that Mets game, Mike Pelfrey still in the game. He's gone 5 innings, 10 hits, 5 runs. Edwin Jackson started for the Cardinals, but Kyle McClellan is in. How many relievers do you think Tony La Russa will use tonight?
Tony La Russa loves September.
Barbaro misses away. Two-1 coming to Buck.
He has been the force behind the plate this year.
Full count, 3-2. Donnie Murphy on deck. 6:30 Marlins live. Derek Lowe, Javi Vasquez tomorrow night. Buck drives that ball to right center field. Hayward makes the catch, and the Braves get a combined shutout from Randall Delgado, Christian Martinez, and Anthony Barbaro.